Ever since Todd Boehly and Clearlake bought out Chelsea back in 2022, Chelsea have basically been the football equivalent of a 1 billion science experiment. Projects FC, Spreadsheet FC, 8-year contracts dished out, $1 billion spent, only to find ourselves with no Champions League football at one point and 12th in the league. Rival fans clowning us, pundits saying there's no plan, you can't win nothing with kids, and even a lot of Chelsea fans looking at things like, nah, this can't be serious, we can't be showing these results after all this money spent. But here's the twist nobody really saw coming. In the middle of that banter era, this so-called broken project has quietly won the Conference League and then went and won the Club World Cup. And we've done it while getting younger, not older. Estêvão, Saeptav scoring for their countries. Stars around the corner such as Quenda and Derry soon to come. Cobham kids blowing up like Mheuka, Kavuma-McQueen, Reggie Walsh, Derry, and our very own Acheampong finding himself getting first team minutes this season. The youngest squad in the Premier League currently finds himself third in the league, and with these small signs of success and results showing up right now, you have to ask yourself, is this still just chaos, or are we watching the first real signs that Chelsea's crazy long-term strategy is actually starting to work? So, let's take a quick rewind. Under Abramovich, we lived the madman dream. Unlimited money, superstar signings, trophies on trophies, managers in and managers out like it was a revolving door. And it worked, until it didn't. The sanctions hit, the club gets forced into a sale, Boehly and Clearlake come in, and that first year was pure fever dream. Over 600 million spent, but we saw 4 different managers. We finished 12th, and you're watching games like, bro, what am I seeing? Are these the right people to take over from Roman Abramovich? From the outside, it looked like there was zero plan. Just buy anyone under 23 with a pulse and hope something clicks. But once the dust settles, you start to notice these emerging patterns. The squad is getting younger and younger. Contracts are suddenly 7, 8 years long. There's new fresh plans around the academy. We're buying Strasbourg and looking to build network models under the football umbrella. And we're signing kids from Brazil, Ecuador, Portugal who don't even land here for 2 or 3 years. And then you realize this isn't just some short-term US owners who have a come in, flip the club and dip type of strategy. Like it or hate it, they are setting up a 10-year experiment. Build a generation now, cash out in trophies and player value later, and that seems to be the bet that Clearlake have placed on Chelsea. Let's strip all the finance jargon away and just say what they've actually done. Chelsea under Boehly and Clearlake basically said, 1, we're going younger than everyone else. If you're 17 to 21, technically clean, high ceiling, you are now on our radar. 2, we'll give you time. That's what the crazy long contracts really are. Yes, it helps with accounting, we can't ignore that, but it's also the message. You're not here for 18 months, we're seeing this through. 3, we're building 2 taps of talent. Tap 1, global wonderkids, Estêvão, Páez, Quenda, Saeptav, Derry, Anselmino, Ordonez, and Tap 2, Cobham 2.0, Mheuka, Kavuma-McQueen, Derry, Reggie Walsh, Emenalo, Acheampong. The next wave is coming and it's blossoming beautifully. And finally 4, we need pathways. You can't sign 20 kids and then leave them rotting. That's where Strasbourg and Lawrence come into play. If you're not ready for the Prem yet, cool, but you're still in our ecosystem. Is it risky? Yeah, massively so, but at least there's a coherent idea now. Sign them early, develop them yourselves, and either they win you trophies or you sell them for huge profit. The interesting part is exactly who they've chosen to build this around. So let's actually talk about the players, because that's where this whole thing really becomes real. And there's no better kid to start this than the player who may be the face of this project in Estêvão Willian. Left-footed, Brazilian, once nicknamed Messinho, but currently he's looking to make his own name in this game. After scoring ridiculous goals for Palmeiras and on a consecutive scoring streak for Brazil right now, he's not just any wonder kid TikTok clip type of player. This is someone scouts have been tracking for years now. Chelsea didn't just throw in a late bid, they locked in a deal early, bidding out competition from Barcelona Barcelona, who didn't have the finances at the time to engineer the deal. And you don't pay serious money like that for a player like Estêvão if you don't have incredibly high expectations on this kid's potential and what he can do for your club. Chelsea's initial 29 million fixed fee deal, which could rise to 55 million in total, depending on Estêvão hitting the right targets, is currently looking like it may be one of the greatest deals that Chelsea have pulled off in their history. After showcasing a glimmer of his potential against us in the Club World Cup with the best goal of that tournament, Estêvão has taken to life at Chelsea like it's nothing, with 2 Champions League goals, 1 League Cup goal, 1 Premier League goal, and 3 goals in his last 4 international appearances for Brazil. Estêvão is showing that he isn't any ordinary type of kid. Right now, Maresca is deciding to bide his time and slowly phase the player into first team duties. But don't get things twisted, Maresca clearly understands the level of player that he has, but he will make sure that he protects Estêvão as best he can to ensure that Estêvão will be here until the end of this 10-year project. Next up, Kendry Páez, the first big-name recruit from South America and the first player to kickstart this new strategy under Clearlake. This kid is playing World Cup qualifiers for Ecuador since he was 16 and actually looks like he belongs at the level. Gliding on the ball, vision, swagger. You can see straight away why Chelsea moved for him. After not playing football for close to a year, he is slowly now adapting to life again at the highest level on loan at Strasbourg and Ligue 1. There's a lot more to come from Kendry, and there's currently no better environment than Strasbourg to allow Páez to slowly reveal the ridiculous talents that is dormant within him. And one of the next big players that we've signed on the horizon is Giovanni Quenda. Now, he isn't currently with the Portuguese national team squad, but his time for sure will definitely come. And he did have a slow start to the season after his manager revealed that he had to protect the fitness of Quenda and then slowly rephase him back into first team duties after he had an incredibly jam-packed year of football last season. But right now, Quenda, he's back, and he's been on explosive form for Sporting Lisbon, becoming their key guy in the team right now, but most notably showcasing his world-class potential in the making in the Champions League with some incredible goals. When Chelsea first bought him as a massive surprise back in spring, it was revealed that Chelsea saw Quenda as the top 3 team player in the world, only behind Lamine Yamal and Estêvão. Chelsea have 2 out of 3 of the best young teen talents in Europe right now, and Chelsea have fully backed this kid since day one, after forking out 52 million euros for a player that they couldn't even touch for the next 2 years. Chelsea's future between the sticks seems to be Mike Penders, who could follow in the footsteps left behind him by Petr Cech and Thibaut Courtois. Penders has been a revelation in Ligue 1 at Strasbourg, and the acceleration behind his improvement and development has even impressed the higher-ups at Chelsea, as Penders got incredibly close to remaining with the first team squad after impressing in the summer. It tells you everything you need to know about the potential that this kid has, because at the moment, Penders could develop to be the ultimate complete goalkeeper. Incredible with his distribution, incredible aerially, claiming high balls, shot stopping, pen saves, clutch saves at the right moment, and the fact that he embodies all of this in a 6'7" frame. You can see why Chelsea quickly got this guy off the market, because one thing that we know is that every dynasty team has that legendary goalkeeper between the sticks, and it seems like Mike Penders might just have that type of potential. But as we know, goals aren't the most important thing. Defense also helps you win titles, and right now Chelsea may have bought the future of defensive stars in the game in Danny Ordóñez. Liverpool found themselves hurting as they found out that the bid they made came way too late, because by the time that bid came in, Chelsea had already completed a deal for a 16-year-old. He was already 6'2". Excellent ball playing and distribution, a colossus aerially, and is blessed with ridiculous physicality and pace to match. Chelsea are buying from Ecuador, like what we did all those years back when we poached the best talents from Belgium before other clubs even got a sniff. The fact that Chelsea completed this deal that quickly tells you just how far ahead Chelsea are really thinking. We went from a club that wouldn't plan beyond the next manager to a club now buying defenders for whoever's in the dugout for years to come. You might think it's crazy, but all of this is intentional. But just because Chelsea are investing in the South American market does not mean that Cobham is being ignored, because right now we are seeing some of the most promising players in our academy in recent years, and now the messaging has changed. Sign your deal, your pathway is here. We're not letting you walk for free, and the names coming through are some serious level talents. First up, Jesse Derry, a guy that we signed from Crystal Palace in the summer, a wide forward, reminiscent of a young Jack Grealish. He has a bit of swagger behind his game. He left Chelsea at the right time, and right now he has been cooking for the academy and most importantly cooking for the England youth teams. He's got that Cobham winger vibe, he wants the ball, he wants to beat his man, he's receiving on the outstep, he has that feel for the game. As he says, he grew up watching Hazard and Salah clips, and now he gets to play for us. Reggie Walsh made history under Enzo Maresca last season, becoming the youngest ever Chelsea player to feature in Europe, and Walsh has only got more minutes as the months have gone on. A mentioned midfield player, able to play in the pockets, receive between the lines, and link up play. Maresca absolutely loves him and clearly wants to give him any type of minutes that come his way. He's a coach's dream in that sense. You can see why a positional play manager would love a player like Reggie Walsh. Receive, scan, play, move, and repeat. In a project that is trying to build a proper identity, guys like Reggie are the glue. They keep the structure, they knit phases together, they make the fancy ones look good. But for the three massive talents at the club right now, Landon Emenalo, a player that Bayern Munich are desperately trying to get off our hands right now. With his surname, he was born into football IQ, but he's not living off vibes. He's versatile, smart, and physical in his own right. A great defensive type of player who can step up into midfield, play as a defensive mid, play as a centre back, drop between the lines. Either way, he reads the danger early, keeps things calm, and has amazing composure to his game. In a squad built around flexibility and rotations, someone like Landon is a manager's dream piece who could solve three problems whilst being one player. And for the last two massive players, we have to pay great attention to Mheuka. Mheuka has been on fire this season. Chelsea have been destroying teams in the UEFA Youth League right now, and the key guy to that destruction has been Mheuka. In 13 games, he has 13 goals and 3 assists, and he's scoring for the Chelsea Academy teams and for the England international teams too. He's got that growth spurt at the right time, and he seems to have developed even more after getting exposure into the first team from last season. Mheuka has that Aguero in his game, and Chelsea haven't really produced that homegrown striker since Tammy Abraham all those years back. If he actually cracks it, 3 years from now, we could be lining up with a Cobham striker that's being supported alongside Estêvão and Kenda either side. That changes how everyone feels about this whole project. It stops being that they bought a bunch of wonderkids, and it becomes, this generation might be ours. So now that we understand some of the level of talent that we have under our club right now, it now becomes a question about how you harness and utilize that. And one direction that Chelsea have turned towards now is in implementing more multi-network strategies within the club's umbrella. Strasbourg weren't bought randomly, as they're basically the bridge in this whole thing. Now, not every 18-year-old from Brazil or Cobham is ready to play for us at Anfield or the Etihad, but a lot of them are ready to play 25-30 games in Ligue 1. It's a good league, good tempo, real pressure. It's being an amazing league for young players to acclimatize, and it's why all the best teams in the world turn towards talents in Ligue 1. So instead of one loan to a random championship side that might not suit the player's style or game, or then a loan to Holland and then just disappearing after being mismanaged, Chelsea can now say, you're ours. We're sending you to our club. Same owners, same big picture, similar type of football. Go make mistakes there and come back a better player. And right now we're seeing real signs that Strasbourg might be the glue to this entire thing, with Andre Santos returning back looking 2 times the player he was when we first bought him. And right now we're currently seeing massive talents like Mike Penders and Kendry Páez doing their thing there. There's already talks that Chelsea are getting ready to make another acquisition to this multi-network model by acquiring a particular famous club from Brazil. Now, Chelsea aren't doing anything new. We're just late to the party. But after seeing the success that Brighton and Man City have had from such a structure, only makes sense for us that we can create those very own pathways for ourselves. It goes from Cobham to Strasbourg to Chelsea, or South America to Strasbourg to Chelsea. So instead of we lose track of you in the loan army and sell you for a small fee, again, the logic is simple now. The funnel is Cobham to Strasbourg to Chelsea, and it's also South America to Strasbourg to Chelsea. Instead of we lose track of you in the loan army, then sell you for a small fee. Again, whether it works depends on execution, but right now, the thinking is looking crystal clear. Chelsea's future is looking like it could be centered around the talents we are seeing emerging from South America, with big first-team stars like Moises Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez already at the helms. Chelsea have brought the next great generation of players from the region, as we've seen Estêvão, Anselmino, Brazilian talents like Derry, Ecuadorian talents like Ordóñez and Páez under the club's umbrella. And this was all topped off by signing the generational talent of the region in Estêvão Willian. So why exactly are we so obsessed with South America? There's a few reasons behind why. Number one, the talent density is absolutely insane. Brazil, Argentina, Ecuador. Every year there are kids there who end up on Ballon d'Or conversations. If you wait until they've done it in Europe, you're paying at least 3 or 4 times the price. 2, Brexit also changed the game. We can't just nick 16-year-olds from Barcelona or Lyon anymore. That door has kind of closed down, so the focus now shifts to where you can still find elite teenagers and then bring them over at 18. And 3, well, resale and reach makes a lot of sense for us. If a South American baller hits it at Chelsea, you don't just get performances, you get attention from a whole new region, shirt sales, sponsors, and most importantly, kids growing up with Chelsea as their main club. So the thinking clearly is, instead of paying 90 million for a ready-made star at 24, let's pay maybe 20 to 30 million for a 17 to 18-year-old, accept the risk, and cook him ourselves. That's why you're seeing all these pre-agreements, these 27, 28 arrivals. Is Chelsea trying to be early for the next Vinicius, Rodrigo, instead of fighting Real Madrid, City and others for them once they've already blown up? It is high risk, but it's also high rewards and very on brand for this new ownership. So, we understand the game, we understand the hustle at this football club. Is it genius or is it still madness? Honestly, I think it's a little bit of both, and that's what makes things pretty interesting. If it does work, well, you end up with a squad where 6-8 of these guys hit their peak at the same time, in the same system, comfortable playing together and knowing each other's game inside and out. You've always got sales you can make without ripping out the spine, and you've got an identity again. Chelsea has the young, intense, technical side built from Cobham, South America, and the best the world can offer. However, if it does flop though, well, too many kids store, and suddenly these long contracts are seeming a little bit heavy right now. You miss Champions League too much, and the whole financial model gets stressed way too much, as we're seeing recently with struggles to even get a good offer for a front shirt sponsor. And most importantly, fans don't care how clever the spreadsheets are if we're still finishing outside of our targets. That's the tension we're living in right now. We're basically past the stockpiling phase. We've done chaos. We've done those 500 million Fabrizio tweets. Now it has become clear pathways, real minutes, and 2 or 3 of these names actually turning into the best players in the world. Because if in 3 or 4 years we're watching a Chelsea front line of, say, Mheuka or Saeptav up front, Estêvão, Kenda, Páez, Reggie Walsh midfield, you're gonna see everyone pretending that they believed in Project FC from day one. But if we're still stuck in mid-table and half of them are on their 3rd loan, yeah, the knives will come out real quick. For me, the question isn't, is there a plan anymore? There is a plan, we've just walked through it. The real question is, what does Chelsea actually look like if this plan does come off? What could a 2030 Chelsea predicted lineup built around stars like Estêvão, Kendra and Co really actually look like? Who makes it? Who gets sold? Where do the big older signings still come in? That's what I'm gonna dive into in the next video in this series. So make sure you guys stay tuned. I'm gonna try and build that future 11, position by position, and see just how scary we could look like if half these kids do hit their ceilings. So yeah, you might let me know in the comments, which youngsters are you most excited for? Do you trust the project, or do you still think it's all vibes and old trophies? Drop a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and as always, keep the blue flag flying, and I'll catch you guys for another video. Cool.